Chapter 13. Lou called her mama right away after she took a tour of the house. "Hey, Mama, we're finally here." "Hey, baby, glad to hear y'all made it there safely. Now tell me, is the house a dump or what?" Lou laughed. "No, Mama, it's not, thank goodness." "Well, don't leave me wondering, child," Helen said. "It's huge, Mama. There's a living room, a dining room, a big old kitchen, 4 bedrooms, and a sitting room." "A sitting room? Hell, it sounds like y'all got enough places to sit as it is," Helen responded. "You right, Mama. But white folks back at home always had a sitting room. Sometimes they call it a den." Sounds about white. And speaking of white folks, just remember you ain't one. So don't get up there and start pretending to be something you ain't. You hear me, gal?" Helen responded. "Yes, Mama, I hear you. And you know you taught me better than that." "Y'all got a 2-story?" Helen asked. "We don't have an upstairs, but we have what Memphis called a lower level," Lou replied. "That ain't nothing but a fancy word for basement, child," Helen said. Lou laughed. "That's what I thought at first, until I saw it. The walls are the same as all the other walls in the house, and the floor is beautiful. He has a chair, a sofa, tables, lamps, and a television. It's set up like a living room. He even got a pool table down there, too. It's really nice, Mama." Helen was smiling the entire time Lou was describing the room. She loved how happy she sounded. "It sounds nice, baby. Real nice." "Where are my grandbabies?" "I've been saving the best for last. They are outside by the pool. We got a pool, Mama. Can you believe it?" "A pool? Now that's what I call living high off the hog. You be careful now. Y'all can't swim a lick. So watch them boys," Helen replied. "They're okay. Memphis is out there with them. He said he gonna teach us how to swim, so for now the boys are just admiring it," Lou said. "Good. You know what? Memphis is turning out to be the best son-in-law I got. And you better not tell your sisters what I said," Helen said. Lou smiled. "I won't, Mama. Now let me get off this phone. I'll call you tomorrow, okay? Love you, Mama." "Love you too, baby. And kiss them boys for me." "I will. Bye-bye." "Bye, Lou." In the following weeks, Lou, Memphis, and the boys became a close family and turned their house into a loving home. Memphis wanted his business associate and friend, Marty, to meet his new bride and sons, and Lou wanted Natalie to meet Memphis, so they decided to throw a small dinner party for 6. Lou and Memphis had tucked the boys in. "Those little rascals will be asleep before we could get to the sofa," Memphis said. "You should know. The way y'all be outside playing ball, swimming, and running around, why, they be all tuckered come bedtime," Lou said. Memphis laughed. "I'm the one who's tuckered. The boys could play for eternity if it was up to them." "Are you ready for a nightcap?" Lou asked. "Yes, ma'am," he responded. After making their drinks, Lou handed Memphis his glass and sat next to him. "I still can't believe one of your closest friends is a white man," she said. "Marty was my pop's friend when they lived in Memphis. My pop did odd jobs, but fixing cars was his thing. Marty liked the work he did and used to throw business his way. One night, some of the white locals set fire to my dad's garage, and Marty ran them off and helped put the fire out. They probably would have killed my dad if Marty didn't get there when he did. After that, my pop moved to Los Angeles to be with my mama. After my dad left, those men started picking on Marty. The chief told Marty to resign or risk getting fired. My dad told Marty to come to California and apply to work at the police station here. Marty moved here, became a detective, and the rest is history," Memphis explained. "So Marty saved your dad's life," she said. "Yes, but Marty never saw it that way. He always said Pop saved his life by talking to him into moving here. When my folks passed away, Marty made sure I always had the things I needed," he responded. "Is that why you became a private eye?" she asked. "Partly. It's a way to do my own thing without someone standing over me. I work on cars because my dad taught me how. That's why I own a garage too. Even though I don't work there anymore, I still get money from owning the business, he explained. Lou smiled and placed her hand on the side of his face and said, "You, Memphis Cobb, are a brilliant man." Memphis grabbed her hand and kissed it. "And you are a treasure I never thought I would find, Mrs. Cobb." The night of the dinner party, Memphis' friend Marty arrived early so he could meet the boys and hang out with Memphis before the other guests got there. Marty loved to talk and was known for his storytelling. He told stories about Memphis as a child growing up that was hilarious. They all liked Marty. Then Natalie showed up, and when Marty laid eyes on her, he was mesmerized. "Natalie, glad you could make it. Come in," Lou said. "Thanks, Helen. I wouldn't have missed this for anything in the world. I'm so glad you moved here," Natalie responded. Then the two friends hugged each other. "Honey, I'd like you to meet Natalie. Natalie, this is my husband, Memphis." Natalie and Memphis shook hands. "Nice to finally meet you, Memphis," Natalie said. "Same here. It's good to finally match your face with the name," Memphis responded. Marty cleared his throat to be noticed. "Oh, I'm sorry. Natalie, this here is Marty, Memphis' friend," Lou said. Marty walked closer to Natalie and kissed the back of her hand. "Hello, beautiful," he said. Natalie blushed. "Oh my, aren't you a gentleman?" she said. The boys laughed. "And these two giggle worms are our sons, Arthur and John," Memphis said. Natalie turned to the boys. "Hello, Arthur and John. How do you like California so far?" "It's fun," Arthur yelled. "Yeah," John answered. Everyone laughed. "Come, Natalie, let's get you a drink," Lou said. "Oh, now you speak in my language," Natalie responded. After dinner, Memphis and Marty went to the den to smoke cigars, and the boys went to their room to play while Lou and Natalie sat in the living room. "Marty is really cute," Natalie said. Lou smiled. "You like him, huh?" Lou asked. "I sure do. How old is he?" Natalie asked. "Must be at least 15 years older than Memphis," Lou replied. "Well, I'm at least 10 years older than Memphis, which makes him ripe for the picking," Natalie said, and they both laughed. Later that evening, Natalie phoned her driver and said she didn't need a ride home. Marty escorted her out, and they left laughing together like old friends instead of a couple who just met hours before. It was a fun night. The dinner party was a success, and Lou was elated. 2 days later, on a beautiful Sunday morning, Lou, Memphis, and the boys were all sleeping in like they always did when they didn't attend church services. Memphis said taking one Sunday out the month to rest and not be bothered with anyone other than your immediate family was something every man needed. Memphis turned in his sleep and felt Lou's feet touching his. He smiled. She always does this, he thought to himself. He moved closer to her and kissed the back of her neck. Then the phone rang. Lou jumped out of her sleep and answered the call. "Hello? Natalie? No, it's not too early. Is something wrong?" "You what? You and Marty got married?" Memphis sat up in the bed. "They got married?" Lou nodded yes. "Congratulations." Yes, I'll let him know." "Okay, call me later. Bye." "What did she say?" Memphis asked. "She said after they left our house, they decided to go for a drive and ended up in Las Vegas where they gambled and had a ball. They got married last night," Lou replied. "Well, I'll be," Memphis said. "She said to tell you Marty will see you in a couple of days. They gonna stay in Vegas for a short honeymoon," Lou said. "I never saw that coming," Memphis said. "Me neither. I wonder, how does that happen? How do you meet someone and marry them hours later?" Lou asked. It's called love at first sight. And I know it's real because when I first stared in your eyes, it was all I could do to stop myself from sweeping you off your feet and taking you away with me, Memphis replied. Lou blushed at his words. Memphis Cobb, the things you say, she whispered. A few days later, Marty was in Memphis' den having a drink. Memphis hands him a cigar. Congratulations, old man, he said. Thank you. I never felt so alive, Marty responded. That's good, because I got a feeling you're going to need all the energy you can muster to keep up with your new wife, Memphis teased. Marty laughed. I'm happy for you, Marty, Memphis replied. I know, Marty said. You ready to go back to work? Marty asked. Not now, Memphis replied. Okay, let me know when you're ready, Marty said. Later that night, Lou and Memphis were in bed talking. Natalie got Marty smiling from ear to ear, Lou said. I know, he's acting like a schoolboy, Memphis responded. And Natalie is just as happy. I think they are good for each other, she said. She wants him to move into her house. He asked me what I thought. And what did you say? I told him it's either he moves in with her or get ready for a speedy divorce because there's no way in hell a woman like Natalie gonna live in a 2-bedroom run-down shack, he replied. I ain't know Marty lived in a run-down shack, Lou said. Well, he don't, but compared to Natalie's house, it's a shack, he said. They both laughed. Quiet as kept. I think he's more excited than he's letting on, he said. Lou laughed. Natalie gonna wear him out, she said. Memphis agreed. For the next 6 months, Marty and Natalie had become like family. There were barbecues, Sunday dinners, and good times. Lou couldn't believe how the winters didn't feel like winter at all. It was like she was living in a whole new world. In the beginning of spring, Lou marveled at how the new season awakened so many things in nature and how most things in nature transitioned into something much more, never to be the same again. Helen passed away in her sleep at that special time, at the turn of spring, when the awakening and the transitioning both meet. Helen's passing was a sad time for everyone who knew her, especially her family. She was their matriarch, and her presence was greatly missed. It was a hard time for the family, but no one missed her more than Teddy. There was a hole in his heart that nobody but his sisters could feel, and now they were both gone, and Teddy couldn't get over it. 3 weeks after Helen's death, Teddy had a massive heart attack and died. Everyone was sad by the loss, but not surprised. They all knew their Uncle Teddy died from a broken heart. When her mama passed, Lou, Memphis, and the boys all came down to the funeral. After Lou saw how bad her Uncle Teddy was doing, she decided to send Memphis and the boys back to California while she stayed behind to help for a spell. The days following such two great losses was almost unbearable for Lou, but no one can tell by watching her. She stepped in and regulated the entire situation. She organized, arranged, and handled not only her mama's business, but Teddy's business as well. Leela was grief-stricken and sick with worry over how she would carry on without her sweet husband. Georgia tried to get Leela to move to New York with her, but Leela refused. Georgia knew it was a long shot. There was nobody in New York for her mom to take care of, and Leela needed someone to care for. One evening after dinner, Lou and Leela were sitting on the porch talking. Georgia told me she asked you to move to New York and live with her, Lou said. Then I'm going to assume you know I said no. I ain't about to go and live in no itty-bitty apartment in New York, Leela responded. Yeah, I knew what you said before she told me. So what you gonna do now? Lou asked. Leela looked at Lou and said, I really don't know, Lou. Ever since I was 17 years old, helping this family has been my fulfillment in life. I met your mama and auntie, uncle, and the rest of the Pearly Day family. My life was small, and my world felt cold and lonely. Then I became part of something good and true, and I've always felt loved and wanted. But now I feel like I've come full circle, and the loneliness is creeping back into my heart, Leela explained. You're not alone, Auntie Leela. The rest of your family is right here, and we love you, Lou said. I know, but I'm not needed anymore. There's nobody to take care of. Georgia got offered that big job managing a famous restaurant in New York. You live all the way in California, and Johnny Mae and Hortense have their own families. I'm not needed anymore, Leela said. Is that what you think? Lou asked. Don't get me wrong, Lou. I'm proud of Georgia, and I'm glad she's living her life the way she sees fit. But she works all day and has her own relationship. I would feel like a burden in New York, Leela replied. Auntie Leela, Memphis will be starting work when I get back home, and he'll be gone for days, sometimes weeks at a time, and I could really use some help with the boys and taking care of the house. And I'm pregnant, Lou said. Leela's eyes lit up for the first time in weeks. You about to have a baby? Leela asked. Yep, but Memphis don't know yet. I've been sick to my stomach lately, and I thought it was from grieving. I went to see the doctor to get something that would settle my stomach, and he come telling me I'm pregnant, Lou explained. They both laughed. I talked it over with Georgia, and she thinks it's a wonderful idea. She even said that she would come and visit a few times a year, Lou said. Leela reached over and touched Lou's stomach. You gonna need all the help you can get with a new baby on your hands and with Memphis in and out of town, she said. Yes, I am. But that's not the only reason I want you to come and live with us. I miss my family and our talks. I get lonely for y'all, and I would love seeing your face and hearing your voice every day, Lou responded. Heaven's sakes, gal, I ain't never heard somebody make such a fuss over me, Leela said. So you'll come? Lou asked. Yes, Lou, I will come. Yay, Lou shouted, then hugged Leela. Over the next week or so, the family made drastic changes to accommodate Leela's move. Hortense and her family moved into Helen's house, and Leela sold her house to her best worker at the diner, who she also left in charge to run the business accordingly. Once everything was taken care of, Lou and Leela left for California. At the first sight of California, Leela couldn't believe how beautiful it was. The trees look so different than the trees back home, and the grass is the greenest color I've ever seen, Leela said. Just wait till you see the beach, Lou responded. When they got to the house, Leela was amazed at how big and beautiful the house was. The boys were excited to see their mom and Auntie Leela and was happy that she would be living with them. A few days later, Leela suggested that they all go back to East St. Louis for Thanksgiving, and Lou and Memphis thought it was a great idea. After getting Leela settled in, it was time for Memphis to start a job he had been hired for. By him being a private eye, he had to travel, and he didn't know exactly how long he would be gone. But he knew that he would get back as soon as he possibly could because now he had a reason to come home. For the first time since he was a teenager, Memphis felt different about his life. There was a time when he couldn't fathom doing his job with a family at home waiting for him, but now he couldn't fathom doing his job without him. The end.